What a great show. I remember seeing this in the show. And I Great Christmas Grandma Life 22 shirt thought, is this real? It's astounding what history class misses. Like many people, I first learned about this from Watchmen. In fact, when The Crazy White Supremacists review bombed the hell out of the Great Merry Christmas Grandma Life 2 shirt the series for this scene alone. For Watchmen being too political, it really connected with me for some reason, even though it doesn't really seem to be considered a masterpiece or anything. Immediately went and read the graphic novel. As for the massacre, I had coincidentally first learned about it here on Reddit a few months before the show. As for the massacre, I had coincidentally first learned Grandma Life 22 shirt about it here on Reddit a few months before the show. I can understand, obviously not condone. It is suppressed in public education, but I can't fathom how I never heard of it from activists and outside reading. Like, do you Great Merry Christmas Love Grandma Life 2 shirt even know what the Watchmen were about? So, I thought, alright, if there was a Batman in the real world, he probably would be a bit mental. He wouldn't have time for a girlfriend. Great Christmas Grandma Life 22 shirt, tank top, V-neck, sweatshirt, and hoodie. Great Christmas Grandma Life 22 V-neck, hoodie, sweatshirt, tank top. To my great shame, the Watchmen series was the first I ever heard of this Great Christmas Grandma Life 22 shirt. Massacre. LMAO. I thought so. Also note, this scene was shot in Cedartown, GA, where I work. I was actually inside one of the buildings on the right during filming. Cool. I was ashamed to have learned about Tulsa during this episode of a sci-fi series. Honestly, this opened my eyes to the extent of systemic racism in the US. This was a significant event in US history that bore Grandma's Life 22 shirt at least mention in US history books. This show was fantastic. If you stick with it, it really pays off. Friends. A social life because he'd just be driven by getting revenge against criminals. Dressed up as a bat for some reason. He probably wouldn't be very careful about his personal hygiene. He'd probably smell. He'd probably eat Grandma Life 22 shirt baked beans out of a tin. He probably wouldn't talk to many people. When I was in high school in 2003, my junior year U.S. history class in a remote logging town started with the plight of immigrants at Ellis Island in the early 1900s and finished with the Great Depression. That's it. About 30 years mostly focusing on individual hardships and no broad Great Merry Grandma Life 22 shirt Christmas Grandma Life 22 shirt strategic history. No wars. No formative history. Nothing. That class was the only U.S. history class one was asked to take. And I took no civics nor even world history for my high school diploma. Or how about the federal bounty that was Grandma Life 22 shirt paid to the private militia for the genocide of the First Nation, Native Americans? His voice probably would have become weird with misuse. His phraseology would be strange. Well, sure, he was an obsessive and crazy person. Hence the psychologically driven mask. But I always thought that everyone, including himself, knew he had a weird, twisted view of justice. But at least it was justice. Other products.